The Dark Ages last from approximately 500 to 1500 AD. And 1300 AD is an approximate time to begin the New World, as it begins periods such as the Renaissance, the Age of Exploration, the Reformation, Enlightenment, etc. This begins what I refer to, and others, as the Season of Satan, or SOS. Around 1300, the following events kick off the Season of Satan. 1. The Little Ice Age begins. Huge depressurization event. The large volcanic eruptions and earthquake that happened in the forms of Mount St. Helens, Mount Hecla, and some others. The Black Death. The Great Famine. The 100 Years' War, the Anasazi disappearing. So you have to imagine during the Middle Ages, during the Dark Ages, that was actually a time of light and energy, and our world was becoming energized, as were we, and it had an effect on people. But once that light retracted, once the Dark Ages were over and done with, then we have whatever energy is left up here on the surface as it retracts, and the Earth starts to charge it and pull it back inward, and thus we have shortening of lifespans, sicknesses, famines, plagues, and all these types of things that are introduced. Now, I found evidence supporting the happening of destructive or creative worldwide cyclical events, which I have dubbed the plasma apocalypse, with smaller cycles of cataclysmic shifts or resets in between the larger cycles of the plasma apocalypse. With each smaller pressure release, or a cataclysm, more water rises up from within the Earth, as the inner Earth also is depressurizing. This causes liquefaction and soil displacement, and thus the sinking of surface structures. Over time, known lands become phantom islands, disappearing from view and from memory. Eventually, so much pressure builds over time that during the next great release of pressure, the surface waters will float up from the land and will rest for an age without an ocean. This is a brief description of my theory, and it's not really mine, but I'm just talking from my own perspective. The Dark Ages was a larger cataclysm. They vary in size, similar to the lifespans of the Earth's electromagnetic timeline. The period of time from around the 1700s is a strong candidate for another cataclysmic shift, although smaller in comparison to that of the beginning and the end of the Dark Ages.